All right, so we're just going to continue Play Goal First mode from St. Anthony's Monastery. We finished the we finished Lord I Have Cried and a few of the set of Watcher Lords, I believe. And just as a recap, Play Goal First mode is again diatonic, as pretty much everything else that we've done so far, except for a little bit of enharmonic in tone 3. It starts from Ke, whereas the slow version starts from Pa. And then I think we also, the only other thing we said was that oftentimes the Ga is sharp, and then oftentimes our Zo can be a little flat, but normally it's just the Ga that is different. So, and then our intonation, which we were going over last week, is Ane, Ane. So that's our Ke. I didn't do anything yet. I just said, Ane.
See, we hear that, we're ready to go.
Yeah, I know.
Like Pavlova response.
Yes, it is.
That's it.
But I'm not drooling yet.
It's supposed to be like quick of the ease on Rob. That's supposed to be their response.
Well, it's surprising. Like when I do that, everyone else if you get used to that, everyone just goes oh, and they just start singing, and it's like very good. You're just prepared. So we'll start Lord I Have Cried. We'll sing it with the words. Let My Prayer with the words, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 on the verses with the words since we did them before, and start 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll probably do the verses of the psalm in sets of 4, I think. That way, they're really quick, so
right.
Might as well do a bunch of them together.
Yeah.
So, let's start at the beginning. Lord, I Have Cried. Ane, anes. Lord, I have cried unto Thee. Hearken unto me, hearken unto me, O Lord. Lord, I have cried unto Thee, hearken unto me. Attend to the voice of my supplication, when I cry unto Thee. Hearken unto me, O Lord. Let my prayer be set forth as incense before Thee, the lifting up of my hands as an evening sacrifice. Hearken unto me, O Lord. On to the verses. Set, O Lord, a watch before my mouth, and the door of enclosure round about my lips. Incline not my heart unto words of evil, to make excuse with excuses in sins, with men that work iniquity, and I will not join with their chosen. The righteous man will chasten me with mercy and reprove me. As for the oil of the sinner, let it not anoint my head. Cool. So then we'll do these with the note names. So the only thing here, I mean, it's very repetitive, and you'll just see that it goes from Ke up to Ni, then back to Ke, back and forth. And that's about all that it does. So it should be hopefully fairly predictable. So number 5. Ane, ane. Ke, ke, ni, zo, ke, ni, ke, zo, ni, zo, ke, zo, ni, zo, ni, pa, ni, zo, ke, zo, ni, zo, ke. Was that okay right there? Zo, ke, zo.
I was behind you all about it.
Okay. Yeah, that is another one of those the rock have the judges been. That's you'll see that over and over again. Number 6. Kezonizo kevi kezoni pani ni pavu panizo ni panizo kezoni vi kezo panizo kevi kezonizo ke. So this gets kind of fun because we're going into the Nipavu again, but on the higher verse.
But you fluctuate your voice in Hades.
I did. It's boring to do Hades, Hades.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's written in specifically,
It's
but
like, oh hell.
yeah. So in this case, very often when you have the klasma, you have two apostrophos with klasmas on top. You got to do something there.
I think everybody does that.
Yeah. It's just innate.
No one does it just as written.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Um,
Even in Western, like we got that. Those what do we do in the?
The Blessed Are You.
Yeah.
The Vlogitaria.
Yeah, the Evolitaria.
Yeah, the hymns of blessing, I guess, is the way to translate
Right.
it. Yeah, there it says it always ends da da.
But I mean, we're reading it in Western, but everybody does that anyway.
Oh yeah.
You just do it. I
Yeah,
guess.
I think so. I think so. And eventually you start reading into the music
Yeah.
anyway, and it's yeah. Number 7. Ane, that's okay. Vikezo pani nizo nizo kezoni pavugavu the. I'm sorry. It says something at the knee.
I
Yeah.
know, that's right.
Pavugavu panizoni.
I know.
That's tough. I don't know why it's tough, but it is.
It's too high up.
Ni pavugavu panizoni zoke zozoni zoke. Nizo ke vi kezo panini vi kezo ni zo ke. Okay, let's sing all those. Any questions before we get there? All right. So number 5. Anes, for yet more is my prayer in the presence of their pleasures, swallowed up near by the rock have their judges been. They shall hear my words, for they be sweetened. As a clod of earth is broken upon the earth, so have their bones been scattered nigh unto Hades. For unto thee, O Lord, are mine eyes. In thee have I hope. Take not my soul away. Let's do that one more time.
Yeah.
From the knee.
I think we went down too low.
O Lord, are mine eyes, followed by the knee. Knee. In thee have I hope. Take not my soul away. Keep me from the snare which they have laid for me, and from the stumbling blocks of them that work iniquity. Cool. The one thing with these, in general, these would be a lot faster.
Yeah.
Like, keep me from the snare which they have laid for me. Which then eventually everyone, I found at least in previous things, everyone starts singing along because they all know the psalm verses. At least hopefully they eventually know them, and because it's at a fast pace, it's kind of, I don't know, everyone wants to jump in. So it's that type of thing. Yeah. there's something else I wanted to say, but it was number 9. That's what I wanted to say. So what happens in number 9?
Oh, we've got the lollipop.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's okay.
So we start on zo ni pa ni. So there, it's a question of where's that flat go? Our little what's it called, a diasis or no, but the flat. And so where does it go? It's on 2 symbols technically. In general, it's kind of up to your discretion, given your knowledge of Byzantine chant, like where you put it. Sometimes if they want it on the top, they'll put it kind of high, and if they want it on the bottom one, they'll put it lower. In this case, I mean, it goes on the top one, and it's kind of on the top one. But this one, you would never, to flat ni would make it zo.
Right.
And so, zo, it wouldn't make any sense. So, zo ni pa ni, so ni pa ni zo ke zo ni. And it's our one-time flat, so it goes away. So, and that's the only thing. Do we want to keep reading these on the note names? I'm fine doing like 4 on, 4 off. If that, like 4 with the words, 4 without, 4 on ni pa vu.
Let's see what the next 4 look like. Yeah, okay.
So, with the words? Okay.
But you want to do the
I'd like to just go straight.
for 9?
So no, just straight.
That's weird.
Straight with the words. Let's do number 9 with paralagi, and then we'll read through 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all on the words.
All right.
And see how you guys do, just as a sight reading thing. So number 9 with the note names. Ane ane zo ni pa ni zo ke zo ni zo ke vi ke zo ke. Okay, 9 through 13, all the words. The sinner shall fall into their own net. I am alone until I pass by. With my voice unto the Lord have I cried. With my voice unto the Lord have I made my supplication. I will pour out before him my supplication. Mine affliction before him will I declare. When my spirit was fainting within me, then thou knewest my paths. In this way wherein I have walked, they hid for me a snare. Cool. I did that one okay. It sounded fine for me. That was slow, but I think it went fine nonetheless. The one thing that I wanted to mention besides this, if you're doing this 2 choirs, it depends. You can either wait, but it's nice to kind of cut off the choir almost to keep their rhythm. So if you were to do like in this way wherein I have walked, they hid for me a snare. I looked like just kind of as they're holding it, the second choir comes in, and sometimes it works very well if you start on the downbeat, just on the 1 2. Sometimes you have a pickup, so you have to look ahead and know, okay, I have to anticipate them. And sometimes it makes it very seamless. It's not like hid for me a snare. And then other choir gets to go. It's a lot. It kind of makes it flow very nicely. So, and then the congregation has to figure out where to breathe, I guess. So, and where to pause for themselves. Number 14. Note names 14 through 18. Aneones ke vi ke zo ni zo ke zo ni zo ke vi ni ni ke zo ni zo ke. Ni zo zo ni zo ni pa ni zo ke vi ga vi ke. Ke vi ke zo pa zo ni pa ni zo ni vi ni zo ni pa ni zo vi ke zo ni zo ke. Okay, that was a little fun. Should we slow it down? Is that
a little maybe? Yeah, that was a little
Okay.
tricky one.
So? Do 16 again, or just go into 17?
Yeah, let's do that one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, 16. Ke vi ke zo pa zo ni pa ni zo ni vi ni zo ni pa ni zo vi ke zo ni zo ke ni zo vi ke zo ni pa ni zo ni zo ke pa ni zo ni pa vo ni zo ke. So yeah, this one, it's amazing. You really got to know backwards and forwards the scale and know these little jumps. Because it's not the same as what we've been singing before. For some reason it's very different going from ke.
So what's this last one? Can we do that one again? 18?
Sure. Ke pa ni zo ke zo ni pa vo ni zo ke. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Here we have from right at the beginning, ke pa,
Yeah.
and then persecute me. So that's another one that's kind of weird. All right, let's sing 14 through 18, all in the words. Anes. I looked upon my right hand and beheld, and there was none that did know me. Flight hath failed me, and there is none that watcheth out for my soul. I have cried unto thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my hope, my portion art thou in the land of the living. Attend unto my supplication, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from them that persecute me, for they are stronger than I. Cool. And then we get to bring my soul out of prison. So I guess we'll skip these ones right here because we'll go straight to the brief stikira, or the sikira. And the only other thing before we keep going, we see a lot of the anti-kanama symbol. I'll just draw that real quick. So we keep seeing over and over again underneath our oligon, we see this, and that is our, I believe, the anti-kanama. And that one just, I can't necessarily do it very well. Some nights I do it and I'm very impressed by myself. I'm like, okay, good, you got it. And then some nights I do it and it's way overdone and it sounds terrible. So if you hear someone that actually does it well, it's a very slight, like it's you hit the note above it and come back down. So like let's say, I'll do it very poorly and crudely, but if we go to number 16, I have cried unto thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my hope, my portion art thou in the land of the living. Land of the... That type of thing. But it's very slight. So I don't encourage you to do it. I can encourage, like, if you want to practice on the side and be like, and try and get it very slight. If I find any recordings where it's very obvious that, like, that you can slightly hear it, but it's not, you can tell that it's just slight. I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Where it's very specific. But just for the sake of completeness and the fact that there is another symbol there, and we're mostly just ignoring it, so which is fine with me. So I hope that makes sense. Verse number 1, Stikira number 1.
Okay.
Let's do it with Bring My Soul. We'll sing with the words. Stikira number 1, we'll do Paralagi with the note names, and then number 2, we'll do it straight with the words, unless there's something weird. No. These are fun though. I like these. Anes, bring my soul out of prison, that I may confess thy name. By the precious cross with the note names. Vivi kezo panini, panizor kezo nizor keke, keke vi kezo zonini, ni pavu pani pazoni, vi kezo nizo kezo zonizo ke, zopani nizo ke, kezo ke vigavi, kezo zo ke ke. Okay, let's do the last phrase from We Glorify Thee. A little slower.
Yeah.
So from ke, zopani nizo ke, kezo ke vigavi, kezo zo ke ke. That kezo ke vigavi, kezo zo ke ke. Besides that, I think everything else is...
Was one so natural, the other flat, or are they both? So I guess you're right. One has to be flat.
We glorify Thee, O only begotten One.
You
I
flatten
wasn't
that.
sure whether you flattened. You did flatten.
Yeah.
I flattened
You
it
said
further.
you don't
I didn't flatten it all the way.
That's fine.
Gotten One, got...
And
Yeah, I went almost all the way, yeah.
It
So...
sounded flat. It
Yeah.
sounded nice, but I mean, it sounded flat.
Yeah.
So we should do it then.
At the end, begotten?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classical.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to do it. That's what... Yeah, at the end of each one of these, unless it doesn't hit Zo, some of them don't hit Zo, and I'm kind of surprised. I'm like, what? You took it away from me. So, yeah, flat Zo right there at the end. At least pull it down if you don't flatten it all the way. So, let's sing with the words unless there's any questions.
Okay.
Cool. Ane, bring my soul. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may confess thy name. By thy precious cross, O Christ, thou hast put the devil to shame, and by thy resurrection, thou hast blunted the sting of sin, and thou hast saved us from the gates of death. We glorify Thee, O only begotten One. Yeah, how was that? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Did anyone want to say only begotten Son? That's almost, I always want to say begotten Son for some reason. I don't know. Verse number 2, stick here number 2.
They probably because the original doesn't have son, it just has the
Oh yeah,
begotten.
I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know what it says there.
Probably.
But for some reason, like only begotten for me, next comes son.
Yeah.
Only begotten son.
But I bet they didn't have the word son in the original. That's probably why they just.
Oh yeah,
They
I
had
know
the only begotten.
they didn't.
Greek, you wouldn't say one. It would be the only begotten.
Or the only begotten.
Monogenes.
Yeah.
Monogenes.
Okay. Yeah, so we have to write something there. Or we could have written the only begotten, but verse number 2, stick here number 2.
Begotten by itself would be nice.
Yeah, it would have worked.
That would be nice.
I'll have to look back and see what it says. Verse number 2, stick here number 2 with the words all the way through. The thing here of note, second line. Ane, ane, as a sheep to slaughter. So it goes as a sheep to slaughter, which is kind of boring. So slaughter, slaughter. It's I don't know what.
Line and stick here too.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's,
slaughter.
We haven't done that yet.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah,
He's
so
telling us a little like
slaughter. Because it kind of comes out of nowhere.
I don't see the word slaughter. I don't know.
Second.
Oh, the stick here, not the verse.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay.
Slaughters. So, and we'll go through that.
class it up a little.
Yeah, and that does happen often. So you have the da da, and then you also have slaughter, and in the next one you'll see oh great wonder, which we've seen over and over again in the other hymns on different notes, but this time we get it on K. But before we get there, verse number 2, stick here number 2, straight with the words. We'll see how it goes. Anes, the righteous shall wait patiently for me until thou shalt reward me. He that granted the resurrection unto the race of man was led as a sheep to slaughter. The princes of Hades were terrified of him, and the grievous gates were lifted up. For Christ the King of glory hath entered, saying to those in bonds, go forth, and to those in darkness reveal yourselves. Alright, how is that? There's a few rhythmic things in there for fun.
Just saying to those was a little tricky.
Oh yeah, saying to those. Saying to.
Yep, it's not saying to, but
Right.
saying to those.
Saying to those.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
Saying
Saying to those in bonds go forth.
So let's see. For Christ the King of glory hath entered. I don't think I did that right.
Oh yeah, that's another one of those. I entered. Yeah. And the one thing with Plagal 1, and we're not really doing it, which is good, is that a lot of times Plagal 1, because it's they're almost very short phrases, and it's very dun 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 dun, it can get very choppy and staccato, and you don't want that at all. Because you don't want, he that granted the resurrection. It can get that way. So just make it very lyrical, which we're doing. I just mention it so that we don't tread down that dark path. So, yeah.
We try that again with you doing Esau?
Sure, yeah.
2.
Anes, the righteous shall wait patiently for me until thou shalt reward me. He that granted the resurrection unto the race of man was led as a sheep to slaughter. The princes of Hades were terrified of him, and the grievous gates were lifted up. For Christ the King of glory hath entered, saying to those in bonds, go forth, and to those in darkness reveal yourselves. Again on the saying to.
Saying to.
Yeah.
Saying to those. Maybe you could saying to.
Yeah, and the major thing there is you don't want to stress to. Saying to those.
Right.
And then as a sheep to slaughter. As a sheep to slaughter. Let's just do slaughter. Slaughter. Let's do it really slow. Slaughter. Slaughter. Yeah, it's like slaughter, except not as defined. So slaughter. Slaughter, 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 slaughter. And that's when we start to lose it, I think, at that speed. Slaughter. And there's nothing.
How would you know if you just did sight reading that that's how you should do it? Is that standard or is that
it's standard?
Style?
It's standard. It's not wrong to do slaughter.
Oh, that's how it's written.
That's how it's written.
That's how you just know from style or you heard it that way, or is it?
I sing with people. I listening to recordings. I sometimes listening to recordings and actually having the music with me and being like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's what
What?
you don't know how. So that's
No, if you actually, I have a bunch of CDs from Vatopedie, the monastery in Greece, and they have the musical scores with them. And when I was first reading, I was completely lost because I had no idea where they were. I could read the words, I could read the Byzantine notation, but they were not reading what was on the page. They were jumping.
That's their fault.
No, well, they were interpreting it all over the place. They were reading it correctly because they were reading it as a choir, so they were all reading it correctly together. But they were just where it said up one, they did up two, but then went down one after that. So instead of da da, they went da da da. They jumped, and they all did it. They all know how to read that together because that's their tradition there.
Okay. Well,
It's just that they embellished it a lot more than I was expecting, because it sounds really nice when you listen to them, but what's on the page is not necessarily what comes out of the voice. So, so same with slaughter. That's a pretty simple alteration. I've heard people do, let's say, he that granted the resurrection. So you have, he that granted the resurrection. That's the simplest way. You could, and we've done before, rection or rection. Some people also do rection. They just do a little rection, just a little scale up the way. And other monks might do other things, and other chanters might do other things. So I'm kind of giving you, hopefully, the conservative and easier method.
It's just good to know that it's a lot of improvisation in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
So
And sometimes I'll have to find out. I don't think it's in tone 5 at all, at least the brief stuff. But there's a lot of times when I was interpreting something when I was in Greece, and the one monk, he was like, why do you sing it like that? And I was like, well, that's how it's written. He was like, but as a choir, you can't sing it like that. He was like, then he told me how they interpret it. And I was like, well, our choir is able to do it, but I think it's because we knew no other way except just to read the music straight. And he was like, no. And then during one of the long services, I was looking. Every single time, all the monks did it exactly the way that he said that they would do it.
But you're fighting 1,000 years of tradition.
Yeah.
That this is how they always did it.
Yeah.
How dare you challenge it?
Well, but he wasn't saying that I was wrong. He was just saying he was like, well, that's too complicated. He was like, why are you reading it at face value? You know. So which to me was the simple way of doing it. So.
That explains Anna.
Yeah. So, but I think she goes to an extreme. But
Yes.
maybe. So, but no, sometimes there is that. But the key is that it has to be predictable. It has to be not codified. You don't write it down. But I mean, there's a certain way of doing it such that when you all sing it together, like there's a certain way. I know when I sing with my friends in Pittsburgh, if we don't do anything, we're all going to read it the same way. And just because we sang together for many years, and so then that's just the way that I ended up interpreting something got adapted by the rest of them. The way that some other guy interpreted it was adapted by the rest of us, and it's all from our own little schools of learning that we've put these little things in there. So at first it seems like, wait a minute, it's not there, but eventually it's kind of becomes second nature. So verse number 3, sticker number 3. And this will do verse with the words, and then stick here number 3 on the note names. Aneanes, out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. With the note names. Kezo lizo ke. Zoke kevi kezo nizo kezo pazo ni pavu pani nizo ni zoke ni zoke zoni pa ke. Did we do that again or
Yeah.
That was just that part.
Creator of things invisible.
Okay.
Yeah. Visible. Zoke ni zoke zoni pake. Pani zoni ni zoni zoke zoni zoke. Kezoni pani zo kezoni ni zo kezo kevi gavi kezo ke. All right. So, and just back on interpretation, one of the guys in Pittsburgh who has a degree in Byzantine music, and I would sing with him every so often at if I went to the Greek church. He knows a lot and he's got degrees in Byzantine music, but he could tell you he's like, oh well, if you want to do it Thessalonica style, this is what you do. If you want to do it Constantinople style, you do it this way. If you want to do it this way, so he was aware of all these various traditions, and they all do it, different ways. So sometimes there are specific regional dialects of Byzantine notation. But nevertheless, if you go somewhere and you read it at face value or you read your version, people won't necessarily be like, whoa, you're wrong. It'll be like, either they already know it because they've been schooled in that, or they'll be like, oh, that was a very neat way of interpreting that. I've never heard that before. Unless it's blatantly wrong. And then,
is that a diplomatic way of saying you made a mistake?
Like if you tried it behind the
well, that might be they might see that heresy.
You're way off, but I've never heard this.
Yeah, well, I mean, my friend in our head chanter in Pittsburgh, he was saying, and Patricia heard this, I think, but when in one of the tone 2 praises for the resurrection, in the middle of it, it says Christos, that the angel cried out, Christ is risen, and hath granted the world great mercy, or something. So it says Christos anesti. So in the Arabic tradition, the way they composed it was to go into to go out of tone 2 and into Christos anesti ek nekron, and then go back into tone 2. Which is not what the Greek traditional manuscripts have. Mm-hmm. It just goes like Christos anesti ek nekron. It doesn't go back into plagal 1 at all. Mm-hmm. So when my friend did this, all the chanters in Greece, they all scrambled. They were like, "Where is he? He's lost. He must be lost." They were like, they went to find out where the hymn was, and then he went back into tone 2, and then you see like nods of approval. It's like, well done. That was very interesting. I've never heard that before. But then they were like, "That's pretty cool." You know, he's just and that was the Arabic. I think they normally do that with Al-Masiyakam. Maybe they do it when they write it in Greek as well. But he just took it. He was like, "Well, the Arabic does this. I'll just do it with the Greek too." So. You know, they initially scrambled and they were like, "What's going on?" But it's a very neat thing, and it evokes. I mean, the minute people, if we were to do matins here on a Sunday, and if we were to break that out in the middle of matins, people would recognize it tremendously. And if they weren't paying attention, they would ears perk up immediately because the minute you're like, "Wait a minute, I know that." You know, why are they doing that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a Pavlovian response too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or an Orthodoxian response, maybe.
Yeah.
Orthodoxian.
Out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Lord, with O great wonder, and we'll just do it with the words. So, Anes, out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. O great wonder, having suffered in the flesh out of love for man, the creator of things invisible, the immortal one hath risen. Come, O ye kindreds of the nations, let us worship him. For delivered from error by his compassion, we have learned to praise the one God in 3 hypostases. All right, and everyone knows hypostases, right? Personhood, or persons.
Not 3 hippos.
Right, exactly. The 3 hypostases. We've had a lot of converts that didn't know. The well-read converts and the ones that they came to Orthodoxy by books knew hypostases. The ones who came to Orthodoxy because of relational things and they were kind of like, this is pretty cool, and came to church, they did not know hypostases. So when we said that, they were like, I don't know what that is. So when we said persons, that made more sense. All right. So verse number 4, Sikira number 4. Let's do this straight with the words, just straight through.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't see anything funky.
Yep. Anes, let thine ears be attentive to the voice of my supplication. Evening worship do we offer thee, the unwaning light, who in the end of the ages, through the flesh as in a mirror, has shined upon the world, and has descended even unto Hades, and dispelled the darkness there, and has shown the light of the resurrection unto the nations. O giver of light, Lord, glory be to thee.
Yeah, there's no there.
Yeah, there's no.
Did you blast through that resurrection, or did I just hang around too long?
Because there are 2 resurrection.
Yeah. And has shown the light of the resurrection unto the nations.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Was that?
I don't remember now.
I think that was what we did. We can look at the video later on.
Yeah. Let's see the replay.
Yeah. There is a way of doing that on here, but I don't have the pro version, and so I can't do like instant replays and scoreboards and things. But you can, which would be cool. Like Isan won, Melody 2, Melody wins. Should we do that one again or keep going?
Sure.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Do it
Do it
again.
again.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit quicker. And
Yeah, a little faster. And I do Isan? All right. Verse number 4. Yeah, and the verse, I think the one thing for me to critique would be to make it more talky. Let thine ears be attentive to the voice.
It's hard to do talking when there's three of you trying to do it simultaneously.
Yeah, eventually y'all talk at the same pace. But
we'll all talk the same way.
Yeah, talk the same way. But yeah, because
kind of scary.
I have stories about that later.
Yeah,
but we'll deal with that.
We'll trot those out later when it's too late for us to back out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let thine ears be attentive to the voice of my supplication. Evening worship do we offer thee, the unwaning light, who in the end of the ages, through the flesh. Okay, let's go back to the knee. Ages. Through the flesh. Keep going.
What did we do?
So
something wrong.
What did we do?
You didn't end on the knee. You ended on K, I think.
Oh.
So the ages, yeah.
End of the ages, through. Keep going. Through the flesh, as in a mirror, has shined upon the world, and has descended even unto Hades, and dispelled the darkness there, and has shown the light of the resurrection unto the nations. O giver of light, Lord, glory be to thee. Cool. Was it okay?
Yeah, well, yeah. It was okay.
Yeah. So the one thing to notice, if you look at the third line down, it has descended even unto Hades. Even
Yeah, I think we zig.
Yeah, oftentimes that's that can be interpreted like some people would think that's a synec. Yeah, some people think it's an adjoining alafron. That's synec alafron.
No.
It's not. No, it's just
Because they're not joining.
Yeah, because they're not joined. Sometimes.
But that's almost you said that's almost where that evolved from.
Yeah, exactly. So the way that I would
I
I would read this is and has descended even unto Hades, but you could do even on, which is kind of where that comes in. Even on. I wouldn't read that as it is right now. Just that's not my tendency.
Yeah.
But they're two separate symbols there.
Right. Yeah.
It's not one.
That's pretty clear. Yeah.
Sometimes there is a Romanian book that I have where it's supposed to be an adjoining alafron, but it's written like that. And my friend was sight reading, and he got all messed up, and he was like, "But I read it exactly right." And I was like, "Yeah, I agree, but you didn't, because it wasn't obvious.
That was it.
Because there was too much space between the two symbols.
Oh.
Now with computers, most of the time it's going to be right. But when you're using like little stamps and things like that, or calligraphy, sometimes it's not as clear.
Yeah, I think we didn't go down far enough there.
Yeah.
Something happened.
I did it Cinecast in the front, so I just screwed up there.
I think everyone.
We worked together, and anyway, I'm like sure, like
I didn't realize you had to separate it.
Yeah.
I thought that
I don't think I went down far enough. I think we got back on pitch someplace.
So, okay, let's go on to number 4.
In real life, that'd be over. Now we'd be.
Yep, yeah, we'd be already on.
Too late.
So this one we do with the note names, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aneones, if thou shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand? For with thee there is forgiveness. 1 second.
Sorry.
You got it?
I screwed up my pages again.
All right, no problem. I saw you flipping, and I was like, I think she's
I
lost.
know what that means.
It's like where.
He's back on page 238.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let us glorify Christ. Let us. Starting from K. K. Kezopani zoni zoni the kezoni nizoke, and that we can just do nizoke kezoni zoni zoke zoni zoke the kezoni zoke. Kepani zoni kezoni pavuni zoni pani zoke zoni zoke ke Kemi kezo zoni ni zoni zo kevi gavi kezo zo ke. And I'm gonna have to turn off the recording because I'm running out of battery since I left my charger at work. So I will.